Welcome to the course. Become a good LaTeX user to create professional documents. So let's see what we have in this course. The course is divided into 7 different sections. In the first section, we will be talking about the introduction to the course and the instructor itself. In segment 2, we will be looking at how to set up LaTeX, that is how to install it and create your first document in LaTeX. In section 3, we will be looking at some of the basic formatting options. That is how to bold, italicize, underline, install packages, and other listing options. In section 4, we will be talking about how to include tables and graphics into the LaTeX environment and how to align them and how to use its different options. In section 5, we will be looking at some of the essential elements of math and sciences, that is equations and algorithms, and how to include them into the LaTeX. In section 6, we will be looking at referencing and citations and how to maintain and how to effectively manage them and how to include them in your LaTeX document. In section 7, we will be looking at some of the advanced technique and options that you can use in order to create and customize your LaTeX documents. Hello students, welcome to the course on LaTeX. So in this course, we will be discussing the typesetting program that is used for creating professional documents. With LaTeX, you can create a thesis, research papers such as this one, and presentations, and many other documents such as reports. The LaTeX is essentially a markup language. It uses a tagging conventions to define the structure of your document. I was introduced to the LaTeX for the very first time during my PhD thesis. That was back in 2010, and since then I am using LaTeX in order to manipulate all of my necessary documents. That is, if I am interested in producing some publication or if I am doing some presentation, for those purposes I will be using LaTeX. The essential advantage of using LaTeX is that it is completely free. That is, all the packages necessary to compile a LaTeX document will be coming to you freely with no cost. So this is a significant improvement over the previous or some others word processing tools such as Microsoft Word, where you have to pay a very high fee in order to get the software itself. The other essential advantage of using LaTeX is that it allows you to focus more on the content. That is, you can freely write whatever you want and you can keep your thought process concentrated on your writing. Now, this is a very significant improvement and a very significant advantage of LaTeX compared to other tools such as Microsoft Word, where as you write, you see the output as well at this very same time. So it actually sometimes distracts you from what you are writing. So you pay attention to the content as well as to the presentation at the same time. While in LaTeX, you only focus on what you write, and then later on you can add a tagging convention to your writing, and then you can see the output in different ways. Another advantage of using LaTeX is that you can easily reuse the text in some other document. This is essentially not the case with some other word processing tools such as Microsoft Word, where the content itself has an attached formatting to it. So when you copy and paste it into some other document, it's not very easy. Finally, I would like to share with you guys my own personal experience. So I was using Microsoft Word in my early career. When I passed a certain learning threshold and I found myself familiar with LaTeX, now it's very, very easy in order to create professional documents using LaTeX. And in the transition phase, you will find a little bit difficulty, but once you pass a certain learning threshold, you will really enjoy using LaTeX for creating professional documents. You can personally experience that by attending the first few segments of this course. You will know that how easy it is actually to create documents in LaTeX. So it will take you roughly around 30 to 1 hour of lecturing in order to start creating beautiful documents in LaTeX. So let's see in the course how we can do that. In this segment, we'll look at how to set up Latex on your computer system. So basically you need two things. Number one is that you need a Latex distribution, and number two, you need a Latex editor for this purpose. The Latex distribution is essentially a typesetting engine that will create documents using the Latex and generate the output files such as the PDF and DVI. The Latex editor, on the other hand, is the application that you will use to create your documents. That is where you will be entering your text. On the Windows platform, the famous Latex distribution is the MATLAB distribution. So you can access that by visiting the matlab.org website, and then you need to go to the download section of that. And here in the downloads, you will find a lot of different versions of that. For example, if you want to download a 32-bit version of it or 64-bit version of it. The size is around 192 MB. Here you will also find a lot of useful documentation and tutorials which shows you a step-by-step guide how to access and install this MATLAB distribution. Remember that Latex is the distribution, and after installing it, you will also find the editor in your installed programs, which is the text work. So try to find and locate that in your computer once the installation is complete. I would suggest you to go by the default settings, or if you want some specific changes, then please consult the corresponding documentation of it. Once you are done with the installations, you need to go to the Start, Programs, and then select MATLAB, and then run the update wizard, which will update your MATLAB distribution to the latest packages. Once you are done with the installation, you can directly go and take the lectures. For those of you who are using Mac, so there are different options to set up LaTeX in Mac. The easiest solution is to use the MATLAB version of that. So MATLAB is essentially your distribution, and you can access it by visiting this website, that is tug.org/MATLAB. So you need to download this MATLAB, and it will install two things. One is the Text Live, and the other one is the Text Shop. So Text Live is your distribution after installation, and Text Shop is your editor. Similarly, you can also check for your relevant version of the Mac and a relevant version to download from the extra documentation that you can find over here. Once you have installed it correctly, you are ready to go and take the course. Alternatively, if you are a Linux user, you may consult one of these two options in order to get and grab the LaTeX distribution. For the text editor, if you are using Emacs, make sure you have Octave package installed on your system already. There are other distribution of LaTeX for the Linux environment. So better search the internet a little bit and you will find a lot of them. After installing all of them, so you are ready to go and proceed with the lectures. So see you in the course segments. Hello students, welcome to the new segment of the course. In this segment, we will be looking at some of the very basic stuff regarding the LaTeX. We will be looking at how to run a LaTeX file and what are the different options that are available in LaTeX. And we will be also covering the graphical user interface of the LaTeX, that is the layout of the LaTeX software. So as you saw in the previous lecture, how to actually install LaTeX. So after installing LaTeX, you will on the Windows platform, you will find TextWorks in your programs. So that is how you can access LaTeX. So I have a sample source file over here. So when I double click it, remember that the LaTeX files have an extension of .tex, right? So that's the files of LaTeX. So I have downloaded a very simple example, and I will also include it in the course files area. So you can download it and see for yourself that how you can actually run this program. So the examples that we will be doing will be mostly on the Windows platform, but essentially you can find similar kind of LaTeX editors in Mac and similar type of LaTeX editor in the Unix and Linux environment. Okay, so the first thing that you need to locate is this button. So this button is actually used to compile or typeset your LaTeX file. So if you click it, it will generate the corresponding PDF file for you. So please note that this is not a PDF viewer. Sorry, I mean to say that this is not an Adobe Reader viewer. Rather, this is a PDF viewer which comes with the LaTeX distribution itself, right? So it may not have all the options that you usually see. So once you actually click this typeset button, you may note that a console has appeared over here, and then after that, this PDF has been generated automatically. You may have noticed that the console, after running the program, the console does not stay over here. So if you want to have a look at it, you need to go to the Windows and select this Show Console button, and then it will appear over here. So what the use of this console is that if you made some errors inside your document, so it will not typeset, and some errors will show up over here. So by reading those error messages, you will exactly know what are the mistakes that you are doing in your LaTeX file. So in that case, it will not run. So that's the only use of this console output option. You may also sometimes note that there are a lot of warning messages which appear in this console. So the warning messages are just indications to you that some things needs to be paid some attention to, and they may not be appearing well in the final document. Generally, I will ignore those warning messages. And sometimes if you typeset the document twice, so some of these error and warnings, they will disappear from this list. So also please take note of that. So after you have successfully run your typeset your document, if you go back to the directory where your document is located, so you may note a lot of different files. In my case, only one file has been generated, rather two. One is the PDF file that I can view in the PDF viewer, and then this other file as well. In your case, there may be some additional files as well, but please note that the only file that you need is the TEX file and the output generated file, that is usually the PDF file. So in order to clean our directory, sometimes we get rid of these extra files that have been generated. So remember that be careful not to delete your original file. If you delete this PDF, you can still generate it. It will give an error that it is in use, so make sure that it is not in use. Okay, so make sure that it's not in use and you don't delete your original .tex file. So if I typeset it again, that same document will be generated again, and we may note it over here again. A good approach will be just to ignore these extra files that have been generated as a result of running your LaTeX file, because sometimes by mistake you may delete the original file, and then you will be in all sorts of trouble. The other files that you may find here after typesetting your document are having extensions such as .aux and some log files, and files with extension .bbl and some other files. So in my case, it has not generated those. Please note that whenever we typeset our document, this PDF sample, the output file, is going to be rewritten. So you don't have the previous copy of that. So for instance, if I made a slight change in my document, and I say a sample LaTeX document number 1. So you may now note that in this PDF, we do not have that. We have only the text saying a simple LaTeX file. So if I recompile this or typeset it again, so you will note that this new document has now this additional text, which means I do not have access to the previous version now. Okay. The other benefit of LaTeX that we explained in the earlier lecture was that you only concentrate on the material, that is on the text itself. And then by just making simple adjustment to your source file, you can generate different versions of that in different styles. So I just changed here the PROC to article, and then if I regenerate it, so you may not know that it is in completely different style. It is not in two-column format, while the previous version, it was in two-column format, right? So this means that we can easily change the layout of our document by just changing a few words over here. For those of you who are using the Mac version, so I will show you how your editor will look like in the Mac. So this is a screenshot of your editor that is very similar in style to that of the Text Live. So this is basically the button that you need to click in order to typeset your document. That is the typeset button over here. And it will generate the corresponding PDF. So that is your PDF viewer, which comes with the LaTeX distribution for the Mac version. So essentially, all the things that we will learn will be the same here as well. All you need is just to put your text here and hit this typeset button, and the rest of the things are exactly the same. So hope you are enjoying the course. See you in the next segment. Hello students, welcome again to the new segment of the course. In this segment, we will be typesetting our first LaTeX document. So let's go straight to that. So the first thing you want to do is to open a blank TextWork file. And the next thing is we need to save it with a proper name. So we will go to the directory, proper directory for this purpose. And I will save it under the name as our first example. So remember, this file will always be present in the resource files for the lectures, but I will strongly recommend you not to download it before you take the lecture. So after you have taken the lecture, feel free to play with it. So the very first tag that you want to add in your document is the / document class. As I type, you may notice that this text is appearing in blue. So the LaTeX tags will appear in blue, and the text of your document, they will appear in the black in the black color. So the colors may also depend on the text editor that you are using. In my case, it is appearing in blue. So pay special attention to that as well. So for every LaTeX document, the first thing that we need to specify is its document class. So the article is a very widely used document class. So we have specified that our document will be looking in the type of an article. The next thing that you want to learn is the begin document tag and the end document tag. So this is telling the LaTeX that after this line, the document, there will be a text of the document itself, and this is the end of the document. So after this, no text will be displayed. So that's the two tags that you also want to learn, and they are appearing in this case in green, right? So the text of our document, they will appear in black, so the other colors are reserved for different purposes. This document class article also needs a title, so we need to say /title, and then after that we need to specify the title. So let's say we say a new document, or we can say our first document, our first LaTeX document. So this is going to be the title. And this document class article also needs a date. So if we specify a date with empty curly braces, so no date will be appearing on our screen. And if we do not specify it, then the default date of our system will be appearing on our document. The article class document also needs the author of document, so you also need to specify that. So I have specified that to myself, and then it also we need to say that make title. So the first thing that I want to appear in this document is this information, that is the title and the author. So this tag actually will going to display those two bits of information on our PDF. So let's typeset this document and see what's the output. So it's basically the output of that. That is our first document. This is the title, and then my name, and then the date. So if I specify the date over here with empty parameters, so the date will be disappearing from here. So if I typeset it again, you may notice that something has been changed, and that's the date. The date is now not being shown. So if I delete it, now the date will reappear over here. One other interesting part of this LaTeX is the use of comments, right? So we can add comments with an ampersand sign, and it will essentially explain some of the text, but we do not want this text to be part of our document. So if I say comments are here, and if I typeset this, you will see that our document is typesetting, but the comments are not appearing over here. So the comments are actually explaining some part of the text for yourself. So that is only for you, not for your readers. And we can also comment out different tags. For example, we said previously date, and if we comment this out, it means it is not going to be applied. But if we remove the comment from here, you can see that, okay, it is now being discarded from here. So its comments are actually a very useful way in order to get more information within your LaTeX document. Okay, so if we want to add sections to our course, so the tag to use in that case is the /section, and then followed by the name of the section. So I may say first section, or I can just say an introductory section here. Introductory section. So it will generate a first level section in this case. Remember that you don't need to specify the numbering. LaTeX will take care of itself, so you don't need to specify 1 or 1.1 or something like that. It will take care of that automatically. And then we can enter some text over here. This is the introductory section of this document. Remember, if you want to add a subsection here, so you need to say add a subsection tag, and then you can say first or first level, or we can say second level subsection. And we can add some explanation of that. This is the second level of subsection. Okay, similarly, you can keep on adding subsection. I believe LaTeX will include 4 levels of sections, but you keep on playing with it, and you will find it quite useful. So that's how we learn LaTeX as well, by doing different types of experimentation and seeing the output quickly. So we can say this is third level of subsection, and then this is the third level of section. So let's typeset this document and see how it looks now. Now it looks quite well formatted, and we don't need to take care of this formatting. It has been taken care of automatically, right? And similarly, we can add one more subsection. So I may say subsection, and let's see how it works. So now it says that it is not allowing third level of subsection. So there is some error over here. So it means there is something wrong, right? So in this case, we learned that the third level may not be allowed in this particular article type. So that's because it has giving us some error and it is not typesetting. Right? So in case of these errors, you need to abort typesetting and then recompile it, or the better word will be retypeset it, and then you will get the previous version back, right? One final note before leaving this lecture out is that in majority of the cases you will be given all this stuff. So the only thing you will be needing is to fill up these sections and subsections and the missing places, right, with your appropriate information. By this we mean that you will be given some templates, and all you need is to fill out those templates with your relevant information and then straight go with the typesetting button and typeset that document. So hope you are enjoying the course. That's it for this segment. Hello students, welcome again to the new section of the new segment of the course. So in the last segment, I just noticed that my font was a little bit smaller and it may not be visible on your screen. So here is basically the font option that you can access from this format menu. So you need to click here and then you can enlarge the font size over here, right? And you can select whatever you like from here, whatever font size you're more comfortable with, right? So I just increased its size a little bit more. But remember that this selection is not going to affect your PDF file. It is independent of that. So if we recompile that, there will be no change within this document, right? So again, if we change it to some other value, for example, this one, right? So it's not going to change our output in any way. It's just the way that we want, that we are more comfortable with. So it's not going to change the PDF. How do we change the font of the PDF? We will look into that later on. But for now, we just want to make it look good so that we are comfortable with it and we can easily see that. Okay, in this segment, we will be looking at some of the more useful tricks that you can do with the LaTeX. The first of them is, let's say if we want to emphasize on certain text within our document. Suppose we want to bold it. So how we are going to do that within the LaTeX environment? So there's basically a tag called text BF. And after the tag, whatever you write within these curly braces, it is going to be written in bold. For example, I write my name over here. And then if I typeset it again, so you will see that my name is being bold over here. Remember that if something is outside this curly braces, it is not going to be bold. Right? So my name in this case will not be bold. So anything that is inside those curly braces, it is only going to be in bold. Right? So similarly, if we want to italicize some text, for example, I want to italicize my name. So this is going to be italicized, okay? So the tag that we need to use for that is the /emph, which stands for emphasize. So it means we are emphasizing on this text, and you can see that my name has been italicized. Again, if something is outside these curly braces, then it's not going to be italicized, right? So my name is not italicized, while my actual name has been italicized in this case. In the same way, if you want to underline some text, you need to say /underline, and then it will be underlined. So it will draw a line beneath the text. So here in this case, it was a simple example of underline as well. Okay, so that were some of the tricks that you can do in order to emphasize your text. So your friends in this case are the text BF for bolding, the EMPH for emphasizing or italicizing a text, and the underline for drawing a line beneath some text. One more important thing is the spacing issue. So if, for instance, I included a lot of spaces over here, right? So it is more than one space in this case in my original document, but when I typeset it, the LaTeX is going to delete these extra spaces and will treat it as a single space, right? So if by mistake you made instead of two spaces in your document, so LaTeX will take rid of that. So it's very important to note. Similarly, if you press an enter between some text and you go to the next line, so now in this case I am in the next line, so the LaTeX editor will also ignore that, right? So the line has not been implied in this case, right? So I have pushed it to new line, but it is not in the, it is in continuation with the previous line, right? So there is no, similarly, if I do that, there will be no change in my document, right? Similarly, I can do it here. So there is no change in the original document. In order to push elements into the new line, what essentially you need to do is to hit the enter twice rather than one. So one line space will not be counted. So if I want this to appear on the next line, what I'm going to do is that I need to have at least one empty line between the two text segments. So in this case, it will treat it as a new paragraph, right? So if I typeset it again, you will see that my name with the underline, it will appear on the next line. But you also noted that an indentation has been applied in this case, right? So it means it is treating it as a new paragraph. So if you want to take rid of that extra indentation, there is another take for that, which is no indent. So if we typeset it again, you may note that it has taken rid of those extra indentation, right? And it is in the new line as well. In this particular document class, that is the article document class, remember that the first paragraph will always be not indented. So the first paragraph of any new section, it will not be indented, and any subsequent paragraphs, they will be indented. So if you want to take rid of some indentation for some purposes, then you need to use the no indent option in that particular case. So these were the few very basic stuff regarding the LaTeX, and hopefully by learning them, you can start creating your own documents. So I strongly recommend you to play around with these and start creating your own documents. In the next few lectures, we will be essentially moving towards more advanced topics, such as including tables and figures, and then compiling your bibliography into your file. So stay tuned. Hopefully you will be enjoying the course.